And that right there is from the opening chapter of the book We Were Soldiers Once and Young by General Hal Moore and Joe Galloway. And the book, which was turned into a movie, which I saw when it came out in 2002, Mel Gibson. It's a good movie, for sure. But it's also a Hollywood movie. And Hollywood movies, they're forced to fit into 2 hours, and they got to follow some kind of a plot, and they can't dig into the details, and they can't really give you a comprehensive understanding of the events. And I purposely did not watch this movie again while preparing for this podcast because I didn't want it in there. I didn't want it in my brain, the movie's interpretation of the characters in it and the way that they were portrayed. And the book is so good. And it's so packed with detail and drama and action and utterly incomprehensible heroism. Everyone should read this book. Everyone. It starts off, it explains the way the battle unfolded, and it talks how it went tactically, operationally, and strategically, goes through all those levels of warfare. And you can see in the book how strategy unfolds at the tactical level and how tactical situations impact strategy as well. You can see it on both sides. And there's also, which is interesting, there's significant commentary from the Vietnamese enemy leadership that they went back and interviewed after the war was over, which just makes it an incredible book. And like I said, everyone should read it. So it tells the story of operations in the Ia Drang Valley in 1965 from November 14th until November 18th. So 5 days. But the fighting, as was noted in that opening chapter, is absolutely brutal. Leadership is tested over and over and over again. And this battle took place with battalions and companies from the 7th Cavalry Regiment. And if you remember the books we covered on General George Custer, he was a officer that led 7th Cavalry troops in the Battle of Little Bighorn, where he was surrounded and he was killed along with 267 of his soldiers, all of them dead, by the Native American warriors on the Sioux side from the Lakota and the Dakota and the Northern Cheyenne and the Arapaho tribes. And cavalry in those days meant horseback. That's what it meant. That's what mounted cavalry. That's what it was. And in 1965, they adopted cavalry to a new kind of steed, a new form of transport, and this was the helicopter. And in 1965, they converted the 11th Air Assault Test Division to the 1st Cavalry Division. And the 1st and 2nd Battalions of the 1st Cavalry Division soon took on the historical name of General Custer's unit. And by the way, General Custer, the 7th Cav, even though that's kind of the most famous, along with this, I guess, along with the Ia Drang Valley, but the 7th Cav served in World War II and Korea, all kinds of incredible service there. And a lot of that is covered in the book. But again, we'll have to move through this a little bit more quickly. Otherwise, go read the book, which I highly recommend.